One of the research reports we put out about a month and a half ago showed that if there was an election held today, that due to, we were running a petition, due to the numbers that had signed up to that petition, it looked like 30 seats would change hands. So Labor would lose 29 seats and the Greens would lose 1 seat. So to me, in the end, it looks like that the sort of the rank and file have put pressure for this to be changed.
Welcome to The Business. You waged a long and loud campaign against the government's unrealised gains for super tax. Are you claiming victory today?
Well, I think, Kirsten, it's very positive for all Australians, what the government has decided or Treasury's decided. To me, it's frustrating that it's taken nearly 3 years for sanity to prevail. We all knew that everyone knew that taxing unrealised profit is just bad policy. As I think Jerry Harvey said, it's stupidity of the highest order. And the unintended consequences were very negative.
The government's key changes are not too dissimilar to those proposed in your July submission to the Economic Reform Roundtable. Can you live with what the government has come up with? Do you think it's fair?
It's significantly fairer than it was. If you want to be a lot more fairer, then you'd actually index, instead of indexing to inflation, you'd actually index the cap. For the aspiring young Australians, you'd index that to asset growth, which is about 8% per annum.
Can you explain why?
Effectively, one of the big problems we've got at the moment is with housing, particularly the affordability factor for young people. And the challenge there is when house prices go up between 8 to 10% each year and your wage only goes up 2 or 3%, then every year that you don't buy a house, you're 7% worse off. So you actually want, if something's indexed, you actually want it to be indexed to the growth in asset prices.
Okay, now on the actual thresholds and the doubling of the tax on realised gains above 3 million to 30% and above 10 million to 40%, you actually thought that there might be a bit of extra room for the government to go further. Do you still believe the government could insert an additional threshold whereby holders of balances between $6 to $10 million would be taxed 32.5% on realised gains? Would that make the super concession system fairer overall?
Well, the government ended up with a higher taxing figure and a lower amount that it came in at to our proposal. So to me, it's you just got to balance that out. What will happen is, if it doesn't work for larger investors, then you might find that they'll be more focused on putting money in a company structure, which is a 30% tax rate. So there are consequences for every time you increase someone's tax. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So to me, this is significantly fairer than what was there before. The good thing is the government is saying, and let's see if they are, they're open to further consultation. And to me, the frustrating thing is they didn't do a lot more of this work 3 or 4 years ago.
Can I ask, did anyone from the government or Treasury consult directly with you about these changes before they were announced today?
No, we've probably written more research on this than anyone else in Australia. I think we've done 3 research reports and the submission to the roundtable, probably 150 pages of detailed research. But no one's contacted us. I've spoken to the Greens and I've spoken to the Coalition, but no one from the Labor Party or Treasury we've communicated with.
Do you have a view on what did happen behind the scenes in Canberra regarding this change? And do you believe the Treasurer was rolled by the Prime Minister?
Well, that's what it looked like. And one of the sad things is, one of the research reports we put out about a month and a half ago showed that if there was an election held today, that due to, we were running a petition, due to the numbers that had signed up to that petition, it looked like 30 30 seats would change hands. So Labor would lose 29 seats and the Greens would lose 1 seat. So to me, in the end, it looks like that the sort of the rank and file have put pressure for this to be changed. Like to me, it doesn't look like to take nearly 3 years for Treasury or the government to understand the significant negative consequences. And we're talking about 94.5 billion dollars in terms of deadweight loss, in terms of loss of productivity, to negatively impact Australia. To me, it is disappointing that it looks like if you're going to lose your job, you're more focused on changing policy.
Do you think how this debate took place and the fact that changes have now been made will have implications for future deliberations in the rather contested area of tax?
Let's hope that's the case. We're a fund manager and we prefer not to get involved in anything political, and we try to be apolitical. Unfortunately, this situation, and back in 2018-19, when Bill Shorten was trying to change the franking system, we had to get involved. And both those situations, the government, if they had sort of talked to industry and understood the unintended consequences from what they were proposing, then both of them shouldn't have or wouldn't have gone ahead with those proposals.
Geoff Wilson, thank you.
Thank you.